Everybody, welcome. I'm sorry we're late. We had an executive session next door with two attorneys, so I'm glad we made it at all. So anyway, this is our council work session of September the 20th, and we will be tonight discussing what we'll vote on next Monday. So appreciate you being here. This is open discussion. Any questions you have, raise your hand, and we'll be glad to hear from you. So don't be shy. First item on the agenda, Councilman Garris, you got anything on your mind?
No, not tonight, since we're running behind. Mark already knows what I was looking at, so we'll go forward.
Thank you. Second thing to discuss is a ratification of lease with the airport authority. Scott?
Yeah, Mayor. What we have tonight is ratification of a long-term lease for construction of an aircraft storage facility by Legal Air. It's about 14,000 square feet, 4,000 a year, and standard conditions. Fees apply.
Thank you, Scott. Council, any questions on this lease? Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments for Scott or for the council? Scott, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the city administrator on our renewal of lease agreement with J&J Enterprises.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we have been leasing from J&J Enterprises the current space next to Dr. Schamberger's dental office for our Symbol Clinic. This is our wellness and medical clinic used by the employees. Its proximity to the staff is just ideal, and also with this lease, we're able to use any employee that lives in Fairhope can use the Fairhope Clinic, the Foley Clinic. So we looked around when we were finding this building, and this is the most ideal. So for the third time, I would recommend continuing a lease with J&J Enterprises for our Symbol Clinic. The budget implications are that it'll be $27.88 per month for the rest of 2022, and then escalate another 3% in 2023. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Steve. Council, any questions? Audience, comments, questions? Steve, thanks. Blake, you're up next with an Economic Development Coordinator on the amended project development agreement with DD Partners.
Thank you, Mayor. As you and the council know, you approved a project development agreement with DD Partners, LLC, back in July of 2018 for the development of a Embassy Suites mixed-use project on some city-owned property across from Gulf Place on a 2-acre site. Since that time, DD Partners has requested previous amendments to the project development agreement due to unforeseen development and economic-related reasons. The most recent amendment was approved in September of last year because of an effective freeze in the financial markets for large-scale hospitality-oriented mixed-use developments because of the uncertainty of the COVID-19 pandemic and specifically what was going on in the hospitality industry with meetings, conferences, tourism in general. The financial markets essentially froze on financing large-scale mixed-use type projects in the hospitality sector, specifically ones with large meeting space. At that time, the City Council approved an amendment that would essentially extended the project commencement date to September 30th of this year, and the project completion date to December 31st of 2023. Since that time, we've stayed in frequent communication with DD Partners, and Ron Durham is here tonight representing them. He's been at the forefront of this project from day one, and we'll give him a chance to address you in just a moment. But we've stayed in frequent communication with him and the rest of his team, and they report they've seen significant improvement in the financial markets over the last few months. They indicate that they're receiving a lot of interest in this project and in actually financing this project, despite what our community has gone through in the last year, not just the COVID-19 pandemic, but also Hurricane Sally and The markets are starting to see just how well our economy has fared through both of those challenges, and really has exceeded this summer as well. So I won't speak for Ron, but he can tell you himself. But from what they're saying, they're seeing a lot more interest and some really encouraging conversations that they're having with financial markets right now. What DD Partners is bringing today, they're requesting that the City Council consider a Fifth Amendment to the project development agreement, which would extend the project commencement date to June 30th, 2022, and the project completion date to September 30th, 2024. This proposed amendment is consistent with previous requests, except that DD Partners is actually stepping up and offering a significant financial commitment this time as a good faith gesture in their commitment to the project and their confidence in this project ultimately becoming a reality. The details of the amendment are, again, the city agrees to extend the project commencement date to June 30th, 2022, the project completion date to September 30th, 2024, that DD Partners will pay the city an initial payment of $200,000 within 15 days of the effective date of the amendment. So 15 days from next Monday, if you were to vote on this, they would pay us, the city, $200,000 in that time frame. For that, DD Partners would have the option to terminate the project development agreement no later than December 31st of this year. If they elected to do so, the $200,000 that they paid would be refundable. If they do not elect to terminate the agreement by December 31st of this year, then that $200,000 payment becomes non-refundable, and DD Partners pays the city an additional $200,000 non-refundable for a total amount of $400,000 non-refundable for essentially for this option and this extension of the project commencement and completion date. And to be clear, this $400,000 proposed payment would not go towards any other financial obligation or other obligation that they have as part of the original project development agreement. This is above and beyond any financial commitment that has already been made by them as part of the original project development agreement. So those are the details of the deal, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Council, any questions for Blake?
It's just our attorneys looked at all this and it's good to go.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Durham, we'd love to hear from you, sir.
Thank you, Blake. I appreciate the time this evening, folks. We're obviously here to discuss an extension to the project development agreement with the City of Gulf Shores and DD Partners. I'm Ron Durham, one of the D's and DD Partners. The other was Ron Day of Atlanta. Shortly after we received the RFP, we joined up with Woodbine Development, Dallas, Texas, a real hospitality heavyweight. They got probably 30 hotels in the major markets: LA, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Washington, D.C. But they also now have 3 hotels in the Panhandle, so they're really comfortable and like these drive-to destination markets. I do want to say that from the outset, back in 2018 and actually a little before, we shared the city's vision for a full-service hotel with heavy dependence on food and beverage and meeting space at Gulf Place. We think it can truly be transformative for the city to jumpstart where people park the car and you shop, you eat, you go to restaurants and bars right there in a pedestrian-friendly walking district right across the street now is a great boardwalk that the city has done. So we think it can all happen right there. A little bit of history. I want to acknowledge to you that I think we underestimated the perhaps hesitancy of the capital markets when we first started this to come to a tertiary market, frankly, like Gulf Shores is. If you look at the hospitality landscape here, particularly back then, 2-3 years ago, it was all dominated by select service hotels, Hampton Inns, Comforts, Courtyards, Holiday Inn Expresses of the world. There really weren't any full service hotels, so we were a little slow getting started, not really fully appreciating that. But then in 2009, things really started to improve. I think people started to see the real opportunities along the Gulf Coast, and we were posturing and heading for a June or July 2020 start date, groundbreaking. And then COVID happened in February or March of 2020. That was obviously a force majeure event that devastated the hospitality sector. Now, in fairness, the select service hotels rebounded quite quickly, particularly in highly desirable drive-to destination markets like Gulf Shores. But they don't have dependency on food and beverage or meeting space. The capital markets lag behind the select service hotels and coming back to full service hotels, simply wanting to know, are we going to return to a time where meeting space and that sort of thing and was prevalent again. Frankly, what's that for the good part of a year, 15 months, they wouldn't take the call. I mean, they won't talk about it. Literally in the last 60 days, maybe 90 days, that has loosened up exponentially. The capital markets now are actively looking at full service hotels such as ours. We're very enthused. We are trading term sheets now with 3 specific investor groups. Really many more than that, but 3 that we really narrowed down now. We think in the next few weeks that we will exclusively be negotiating with one capital source for this. So we're very enthused. Initially, when we were having some discussions with the city, we submitted a plan where we would contribute these funds, but initially we were thinking that they would go toward the $1.2 million payment that we're going to make to the city, which the city was going to use for surface parking places in and around Gulf Place. As it turns out, we're not doing that anymore. So this $400,000 in payments will not go toward that $1.2 million. The $1.2 million payment will still be made, but in January of next year, the city would have $400,000 non-refundable that it could immediately begin using for purposes of that infrastructure. So I'll be happy to take any questions that anyone has, but we're very excited now. Yes, sir.
During this delay, has anything significantly changed in the design that you presented to us that we originally agreed upon?
There has been some shuffling around of parts, but there's still the requirement of, there still meets all the requirements the city set forth in the project development agreement. There was about 11,800 square feet of meeting space. We actually have closer to 14,000. There's still the retail space that we'll do, but we have shifted around a couple of things. One of the initial earlier plans had the boardroom up above the parking deck. And now we're looking at relocating that actually down on the first floor. So yes, there has been some shifting around, and I'd be happy to share those plans with you later. Did not bring them with me, but there's all the requirements of the project development agreement as originally contemplated are in place.
Still the same flag?
Pardon me?
Still Embassy Suites?
Yes, sir. Although I will tell you that, I don't know if you guys have heard about Margaritaville hotels. They really made a run at us. Those things are extremely popular, but we believe Embassy Suites is a category killer. It's a great product with the suites for the beach, and it's an Embassy Suites. Yes, sir. The project development agreement specifies 229 keys, 229 rooms. Right now, it's designed with 254, so it's a tad bigger. But all the pieces are still there.
Is it still going to have the same exterior elevation that was always designed, more or less?
It still have the same palette. Yes, there's probably some movement around.
of this and that, but yeah, it's basically gonna look the same. Yes, sir.
The bar and the swimming pool on the extended.
And
area.
on the third floor, there's 3 floors, and then the tower is behind that, where the rooms are, looking at the Gulf. And on top of the third floor is a swimming pool, bar, outdoor restaurant, and that sort of thing, which is gonna be the place to go in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Council, any other questions for Ron? Anybody in the audience have any questions about this project? And talk to the man that can answer the question. Yes, sir. Let you step to the microphone and come on up. So we got our folks at home that now that we got the microphone on, I believe can hear us.
I think he mentioned the project by Jimmy Buffett organization.
Margaret Rayville?
That's right, that's right. That project is an excellent project. I hope the city of Gulf Shores will consider not only the Embassy Suite, but the project that he just mentioned. That project is hot all over the world, not just here in this country, but all over the world. And I think the Lulu's, the lady that owns Lulu's, I think that's her brother or something like that.
It is.
But anyhow, please consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? We'll be voting on this next Monday, so.
I'll be here.
Yeah.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next, we have Ken with Municipal Court 2020 Municipal Court dates, 2022, excuse me.
Mayor and council, this is just to establish the actual dates of the month of the first and third Thursdays of each month next year for 2022. Everything is the first or third, with the exception of the first date in May. We have a traditional conflict with the training conference, and the Alabama Judicial College has not issued their calendar yet. So if that changes, we may want to move it back from the second Thursday to the first Thursday in May, but everything else is the first and third.
Ken, thank you. Anybody with any questions or comments? Thanks, Ken. Next up, we've got Matt Young with Recreational and Cultural Affairs with a ryegrass seed bid.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, Council. Annually, the Recreational Cultural Affairs Department seeks bids for perennial ryegrass seed. This year, we went ahead and solicited bids earlier this month. We received one sole conforming bid back, and that was from Coastal Industry Supply. Their unit bid for this came in at $3.10 per pound. Since they were the sole conforming bid, we were permitted to negotiate with them. We were able to negotiate that down to $2.85 per pound. We budget annually for this in our 3 divisions, including Sportsplex, Parks, and at the schools. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. We're recommending awarding this bid.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions from anybody on Matt on the ryegrass seed bid? Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, sir.
Next item, zoning director Andy with, Andy with the rezoning application.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. I'm missing the pointer over here. Do you have it, Jacob? Thank you. Thank you, Lee.
Good job, Lee.
So this is application ZA 2154 Lot C1 rezoning request. The applicant seeks to rezone a 1.99 acre parcel to general business. The property is located at the intersection of North Shore Street and Landward Drive, and it's currently zoned R14. Previously, this property was a part of the Aventura planned unit development. Couple location maps on the screen. The left-hand map shows the subject property. It's in the northwest quadrant of the city. The map on the right-hand side of the screen shows the specific location of the property. Again, it's at intersection of North Shore Street and Landward Drive. To the north is BA zoning, and it's the Gulf Shores landfill. East of the site is also zoned BA Business Arterial. It's occupied by Thomason Storage and the commercial and contractor warehouse uses within the North Shore Center Commercial Park. south of the property is currently vacant and it's unzoned and located in Baldwin County. A little bit further south along North Shore Street is Zone BA, and it's also occupied by contractor warehousing. Directly to the west of the site is Aventura PUD, and it's a common open space that's located in that location on their master plan, and also a portion of the western portion of the property west of the site is single-family housing within the Highlands subdivision. Couple photographs here of the existing conditions. As you can see on the top left-hand corner, this is taken from the intersection of North Shore Street and Landward Drive. The property is currently wooded. The top right-hand corner is a photograph taken from the east on Landward Drive. The building in the kind of left-hand section is the warehouse associated with Gulf Shores Power Sports, and the subject property is on the right-hand side of the screen. The bottom left shows the property taken going directly to this picture's taken going to the west, and then the bottom right-hand corner photograph is looking north from North Shore Street. The subject property is on the left-hand side of the screen, and the landfill is in the distance. Again, the property is almost 2 acres, 1.99 acres. It's approximately 300 feet wide, or in length, and 288 feet wide. Some of the background on this property: in 2017, because this property was part of the Aventura PUD, it was rezoned to rezoned to R14 with a PUD master plan overlay for the development of a 404 lot single family subdivision. In May of 2018, there was a PUD amendment approved. It revised the phasing plan in order to change some of the number of lots being developed within phases 1, 2, and 3 of Aventura. The overall number of lots remained the same. February of 2020, another PUD amendment was approved, modify the lot numbers, or the number of lots in phases 2 and 3, and modify the lot sizes. It increased the amount of open space. It realigned the roadway connection to Landward Drive from the Aventura subdivision. Again, the total number of lots remained unchanged at 404. And at this point in time, back in 2020, the applicant requested to change the subject property to a commercial lot. In 2020, they requested to city staff to rezone the lot to BA, and staff suggested that it be rezoned to BG. The applicant is now moving forward with that rezoning application. They never did it back in 2020, so they are now doing it. In August of 2021, a PUD amendment was administratively approved to remove the 1.99 acre property from Aventura PUD. So lot C1 was removed from the Aventura PUD just last month. And this subject application, the rezoning application, was heard by the Planning Commission at their August 24th, 2021 meeting, and the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the rezoning request. So I've got a couple slides here showing what I just described about the history of the property. This slide shows the overall Aventura PUD master plan. The highlighted area to the bottom right-hand portion of the screen is the subject lot, which is lot C1. So you can see it in relationship to the overall master plan. Another modification was made with the 2020 PUD amendment in anticipation of this lot being, or a request being made for to rezone the property. The 2020 PUD amendment removed all of the land use classifications from this subject lot. So currently there is no land use classification for lot C1. Again, in August of 2021, the city staff approved a PUD amendment to remove this subject property from the Aventura PUD. Article 15-6H allows the zoning administrator to administratively approve minor boundary adjustments to a PUD that don't increase density or decrease open space. Because there was no land use classification for this property, it did not increase the density or decrease the open space, so that was approved. The PUD amendment was approved administratively. The existing zoning of this lot, again, is R14. R14 is typically for the use of single-family housing and any accessory structures. The proposed zoning is general business. General business is intended to provide locations for commercial and service uses and offices and other uses of that nature. This shows the lot with the proposed zoning outlined on it, as well as the existing surrounding zoning. The land use plan classifies this subject property as medium density residential. Medium density residential uses are characterized by apartments, condominiums, single family houses, and duplexes. We've performed several analyses on this rezoning request. The first one was the lot location and context. The lot is located again on North Shore Street in the intersection of Lambert Drive. This property serves as a transition area between the residential zoning uses to the west and the commercial zoning uses to the east. North Shore Street is a commercial corridor serving the commercial uses within the North Shore Center. The properties abutting North Shore Street on both the east and west sides are either zoned or developed with commercial uses. Rezoning lot C1 to general business will provide a continuity of the existing commercial uses and ensure a consistent development pattern along North Shore Street. Again, a few photographs of the existing surrounding uses. The top left-hand corner of the warehouse buildings associated with Gulf Shores Power Sports. The top right-hand corner shows the Gulf Shores landfill. The bottom photographs show some of the existing commercial uses along North Shore Street, which are in the nearby vicinity of the proposed rezoning. So we also analyzed the proposed zoning of the property. Again, I've already described what the BG zoning allows, basically retail businesses and services. Most of the surrounding zoning, as pointed out earlier, is BA, arterial business. BA is intended to provide locations for a variety of commercial and light industrial uses along main highways and other areas of the city. BA is the most intense zoning category in the city, commercial zoning category in the city. We compared the BG and BA uses and area and dimensional requirements. And upon comparison, BA allows numerous uses by right that are incompatible with the single family uses to the west of this property, while BG permits more complementary uses adjacent to the regular residential uses. BA allows some uses by right, such as major automotive repair, mini warehouse uses, bar and lounge is allowed by right, as well as the automobile and manufactured home sales. So staff believe that BG was the best fit for this rezoning request. Another item that the zoning ordinance allows the city council to conditionally zone a property. The single family residential uses to the west allow only 3 stories. So we felt like transitioning from the 8 stories to 5 stories for this property and then to 3 stories to the west of this was appropriate condition to place on this rezoning request. A policy of the future land use plan is to promote infill development by rezoning this property to general business. It may be developed with a use that provides a needed service in this area of the city and also endorses the policy of the future land use plan. Staff recommendation, the proposed BG zoning will serve as a transition between the mixture of uses surrounding this property. Staff recommends the city council approve the rezoning request for lot C1 from R14 to general business with 2 conditions. The first condition, as you'll recall, the future land use of this property is medium density residential. We need to review and update the future land use to update the future land use of this property. So what we're doing is we're keeping tabs on all of the situations where the land use does not, for any past rezonings within the past year, where the future land use is not compatible with what the land use plan says, and we're going to bring an amendment to the planning commission in December.
The small portion that's owned by Aventura, one of the slides showed that as being open space, and the other one showed it being R14. What, is that now open space?
It is, so on their master plan, it is open space. The underlying zoning is R14. So that could be the confusing, but it is open space.
It is open space
Yes,
on
sir.
their plat.
Yes, sir.
It just was concerning that there may be a conflict if that was sold as residential lots. Which one rules? What will they be able to do with that property? Are they required to keep it open space?
Yes, sir. The master plan classifies it open space, so it has to remain open space.
Andy,
Counsel?
oh, go ahead.
Wait, no,
The property south, it said unzoning the county.
Yes, sir.
Wait, is that that's not in the city limits? That,
Sir,
that parcel?
there's 2 or 3 lots directly south of this that are not in the city limits,
Huh. I was curious. I saw that.
which in certain areas of the city, that's kind of that's the way it works, because it's, based on people annexing into the city, and these lots have not at this point annexed into the city.
And when this site's developed, will it front on North Shore or will it front on landward? And the second part of that question is, what are the buffering requirements to the rear and the side that may impact the subdivision there?
So the first question, I would assume it will front on North Shore Street. And the buffering requirements in the zoning ordinance are based on the proposed use of the property. So it depends on the use, but I would say typically it's 50. It depends on the use, but it could be as little as 10 feet. It could be as much as 20 to 30 feet. Another thing that I'd like to point out is the BG zoning district has a minimum front setback of 20 feet and a build-to line of 40 feet. So that's going to move the building up close to the road, with probably majority or all the parking either to the side or the rear of the property. But the buffering is based on the use, so the more intense of use, the bigger the buffer.
Well, that required front setback will certainly benefit the
Right,
subdivision.
and that'll also help move the built portion of the property to the eastern side of that lot,
Okay, thank you.
away from the single-family residential.
Andy, I'm assuming the 5 stories is, we have no problem with airport approaches or circling or limit to 3 stories.
I would also assume that, just based on where this is located, typically at site plan review, anything taller than 50 feet is required to get submit to the FAA and get them to approve it. So, if there were any issues, it would be determined at site
Come up
plan
at that
review.
time.
Yes, sir. If they were proposing a building that's 50 feet or greater.
Okay, I was thinking it may be 3 stories rather than 5 at a limit, so.
There was some paving that took place on the dirt road portion of North Shore. Did the applicant do that? I mean,
was
Aventura do that?
Yes, sir. That was part of the Phase 2 Aventura subdivision where they connected the Aventura development with North Shore Street.
I thought so. Council, any other questions, comments? Anybody in the audience? Anybody in the audience? Phil, do you have something?
One more comment, and being that this request is going from R14 to a BG, and I certainly understand the BG as it blends to all the surrounding BA and the unzoned and what's developed. Can we put a condition on that zoning for a minimum buffer requirement on the boundary abutting the subdivision?
Absolutely.
And what would your recommendation be there? What would be the maximum BG would require, subject to the uses that may be achievable there?
Can we consult our zoning ordinance quickly? Or do you want us to give, just,
I'd like to see some type of buffer as a part of the
Okay.
condition, and whatever, if it's subject to the uses, that since we don't have a use to consider today, that whatever the most restrictive buffer is for BG, that be applied as a condition, and then we've got that protection moving forward regardless of what the use is.
okay, we'll be happy to research that and before we advertise this, place as an additional condition.
Okay, thank you, Andy.
So we won't be voting on this next Monday.
That's
Gotta
correct.
have
We'll have to advertise this and it'll come up at a future, city council meeting, not next week.
And we can follow up the buffer recommendation prior to advertising.
Council, anybody else? Audience, any questions, comments? Anybody? Yes, ma'am. Can you walk to the microphone, please? I'm sorry, but we've got audience listening at home and you'll need to hear your question.
Not a problem. Melissa Curry with Dewberry Engineers on behalf of the applicant. So my question would be regarding the buffer requirement. If it is the requirement based on the zoning ordinance, would that then still require additional advertisement?
We have to advertise this regardless. Prior to the city council meeting, I think it's gotta be advertised for 22 days or something, so
Okay.
regardless of the additional.
So it doesn't take additional advertising.
Right, that was my question,
It would
would-
be part of the advertisement for the public hearing.
Okay, yes. We don't have an anticipated use at this time, but obviously we would be complying with any of the regulations that are part of the BG zoning ordinance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? That's the last thing on the agenda. Wait a minute, I promised Brandon that he would be able to give us a report on the coastal cleanup.
So, Mayor, Council, just want to take this opportunity to thank all of those to help make it happen and all those who participated in the coastal cleanup, especially this past Saturday. On Friday, we'd gotten information from the organizers, and which we followed up with a post on social media that the event will be held rain or shine. I looked at the radar Saturday morning around 6:30 and thought, did they really mean rain or shine?
Because there was no shine.
There was not much shine. But we kept on, got down to the Gulf Place, and I really want to just thank some people here. Noel Hand and his guys for having picnic tables, dump trailer there. Gulf Shores Garden Club, those ladies and of course some of their husbands, can't say enough about them. They're always there to help volunteer. Some of them have been there multiple years and they really help us out as far as passing out materials, collecting the materials, t-shirts, whatever we need. They've been there in the past and they were there this past Saturday and it rained from basically start to finish. But in years past and during sunny weather, we have anywhere from 250, 300 people, and we still had over 150 participants show up. So it was very successful. I know Moe's Landing, I haven't got the numbers from there, but I know they held it there as well and had people participate. So it's just encouraging to see the community come together and really want to clean up. And I've also got some groups that weren't able to make it this past Saturday. They've reached out to me and said, hey, can we bring Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, whatever it may be, down this coming weekend and do it? So they still want to come down and clean up, but it's just a great event, and really thank all of you for, we're a sponsor in the coastal cleanup, and next year is supposed to really have a big shindig. It's going to be 30 years, it'll be 30-year anniversary this coming year. So look forward to that. And with that, any questions? But just, again, thanks to everyone that helps make that happen.
Brandon, thanks.
Hey, Mayor, I will say one other thing. Just to bring some awareness to some of the things, some of the items that we are cleaning up on the beach. I know I'm working with Lauren Trawick, and I want everyone to stay tuned. We're going to have a special giveaway on social media. We'll have it posted on social media, but I think the main focus here is cigarette butts. It is amazing how many cigarette butts are collected. So everyone stay tuned, follow social media. We'll have a nice little prize for a little contest that we want to have.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions or comments for the council? Otherwise, about anything? We'll see you next Monday night. We stand adjourned.